recorded. Well, here we are, guys. We're moving right into July. I mean, I said this in December. I said before you be able to blink, it'll be July 4th, and that's pretty much what's happened. And then it'll be Thanksgiving, it'll be Christmas, and here we go into 2020. So, again, I want to welcome everybody that's with me here this evening, and I'm just going to make sure that we've got everybody muted out, so we've got no background noise anywhere. So got that done. You know, what I want to show you this evening is, well, yeah. What I want you to do some point in time in the very near future is start going out shopping. You know, I mean, you know, what I've always done is I've always shopped, you know, dream shopped basically, and, you know, started to picture what it is I was shopping for and started to pay attention to what I was shopping for, because it made it easier for me to figure out, you know, once I made the determination that I was going to buy something, that I wanted something, then it was like I have, you know, I'm just down, I'm focused, I'm tuned in to getting that done. And I found that the best way to do that is go out house shopping, go out car shopping, especially cars. Cars are very easy to do. So, you know, go spend some time at the Range Rover dealer. If you've never been, go take a test drive. I mean, they're wonderful cars. And just picked up this one the other day, a couple of days ago. And, you know, it is a beautiful car. So go out car shopping. And then if you really get the bug, go out, you know, we used to go on vacations, you know, all over the globe. And each and every time we were on vacations, we always went house shopping. We always met a realtor. We always went house shopping, you know, at whatever island we were on, whatever country we were in, and always looked at houses and, you know, bought a few, but always trying to, you know, move on and get somewhere. But by all means, you know, just, you know, increase your wants, right? You know, I love what Les Brown talks about, and the last time that we did this, I didn't get the audio to play and it wasn't very good, but, you know, I want you guys to, you know, listen to what Les has got.
In the Far East, they have something that's called the Chinese bamboo tree. The Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow. They have to water and fertilize the ground where it is every day. And it doesn't break through the ground until the 5th year. But once it breaks through the ground, within 5 weeks, it grows 90 feet tall. Now the question is, does it grow 90 feet tall in 5 weeks or 5 years? The answer is obvious. It grows 90 feet tall in 5 years, because at any time had that person stopped watering and nurturing and fertilizing that dream, that bamboo tree would have died in the ground. And I can see people coming out talking to a guy out there watering and fertilizing the ground that's not showing anything. Hey, what you doing? You've been out here a long time, man. And the conversation in the neighborhood is, you growing a Chinese bamboo tree, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Well, even Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can see ain't nothing showing. So how long you been working on this? How long have you been working on your dreams? And you have nothing to show. This is all you got to show. People gonna do that to you. And some people, ladies and gentlemen, they stop. Because they don't see instant results. It doesn't happen quickly. They stop. Oh, no, 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 no. You got to keep on watering your dream. That is not going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen. A lot of things are going to happen that will catch you off guard. And so therefore you've got to deal with and handle it as it comes. And not only that, but that faith and patience drives you into action. You've got to keep moving and keep plugging away See, during those hard times, we didn't know how you're going to make payroll. During those times when you fell and things didn't work out, they were nowhere to be found. But you know what I discovered? When you're working at your dream, somebody said the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Oh, it's sweet to you. It's good to you. Why? See, when it's hard and there's a struggle, see, what you become in the process is more important than the dream. That's far more important. The kind of person you become, the character that you build, the courage that you develop, the faith that you're manifesting. Oh, it's something that you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror, you're a different kind of person. You walk with a different kind of spirit. And people know that you know what life is, that you have embraced life. You know it was hard, but you did it hard.
Tell you what, you know, and that's how network marketing is. I mean, you know, everybody wants instant success. I mean, we all want success a lot faster than it actually happens. And, you know, patience, tenacity, consistency, all of those things that everybody hears all the time on all the training calls, on all the calls and the Zooms that we do. I mean, it's there for a reason, because it doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't happen overnight. And in some cases, it seems like it doesn't happen at all, right? And you just got to stay consistent, because you know what? If somebody else has already done it, they've already paved the way, right? Then you getting there is just a matter of time. The only difference between you and John Herenza, who's making $300,000 a month or more, is just experience and the amount of time, right? And you know, that's it. I mean, John, Rick, and I all have 30 years of experience in the industry, and I know exactly where we're going. You know, I knew it a year ago. I knew exactly where Valentis was going. You know, did I want to go through all the things that I went through, the startup phases, you know, of my business with Valentis and making $724 my first week? No, I wanted to let me get right to the money, right? Well, it just doesn't happen like that. And, you know, like I said many times, you know, that was one of my biggest fears, right? Is starting from scratch and really having to dig it out and keep digging and keep digging, keep digging. And like Mitch says, keep turning over those cards until you find an ace. Keep turning over those cards. And, you know, a lot of you probably are turning over cards and finding jokers. You know, it's just a matter of honing your skills and doing things the right way. I was the perfect example of somebody that should have quit, right? Because I did everything my own way. I sat in training classes and I took great notes. I mean, I still have those notebooks, right? And, you know, then I would go and do everything my own way. So I paid no attention to what I was being trained on. I just went and did it my own way. And, you know, sometimes, you know, had I been smart, right, I probably would have quit. My sponsor quit, you know, a week after he got me in the business. And he just said, you know, I got too many other important things to do. And I, you know, I get that. And I know all of you out there have got lots of important things to do, things that take care of and pay the bills, right now, rather than bills in the future, because, you know, those bills seem to have gotten themselves in a habit, right? They keep coming every month, whether or not you have any money, they still come every month. So I understand that you've got to do things in order to pay those bills, but you know, while you're paying those bills, you've got to stay focused on your dream and stay focused on where you want to go and the income you want to make and the car you want to drive and the house you want to live in and, you know, the school you want your kids to go to. And it just goes on and on and on, and building for retirement, because retirement does get here. I mean, you know, had any, I mean, a lot of people talked about retirement to me when I was 30, and I go, oh, that's so far away, you know, and now 10 years go by just like that. Boom, done, it's done, right? And so time goes very, very, very quickly. So, I know a lot of you have seen this before. This was our place in Lake Travis in Austin, Texas, and great house. I sometimes wish that we were still back in Austin, Texas, because I loved living on the lake. Had a couple of boats, and had a lot of wonderful things, toys. But unfortunately, the company that I was with at the time, and I had an organization of over 400,000 people, I was making about $250,000 a month, did some crazy things, the owner did, and it shut down, right? So one month I got a check, the next month I didn't have a check. And when you think that you're going to have a check and you don't get a check, and then you find out that the company is no longer there, you start to think about things a lot more closely, right? I was in the process of building a house in Evergreen, Colorado. We bought a penthouse in Grand Cayman on 7 Mile Beach, furnished that, spending a lot of time down there. My organization was spending a lot of time in my condo my penthouse that I paid for, and running up my air conditioning bills and so on and so forth. But, it is what it is. But then we took off from Austin, and we came to Wilmington, North Carolina, and bought this house. When I bought it, there wasn't a house on the side. I bought that acreage over there as well. And it was, again, a nice place on the water with all the amenities that anybody could ever want. So, and now we've downsized from, what was 7 bedrooms in that house, downsized to a smaller house in equestrian, and I'll show you a picture of that one of these days. I'm sure you guys have heard this before, and, I'm going to keep saying it and saying it and saying it and teaching it and teaching it and teaching it. The fortune is in the follow-up, right? So if you're doing things the right way, what you should be doing, and I'll just give you some of the pointers that I've done, is when I'm sending and mailing a package to somebody with some samples, I write right on the package, please call me with my phone number when this arrives. Why do I do that? I want to know that it has got there, and I want to have a conversation with the person that just received it, so I can start to school them in how to drink the coffee. I don't want them drinking it with their pancakes or having a bagel or one thing or another, and a lot of people do that. So you've got to be more specific with your instructions. And I always put those instructions into the packet, but I know how people are. People just don't read. They look at something, oh, that's nice. Oh, they look at something, oh, that's nice. And unless you get eyeball to eyeball or face to face with them, or, on the telephone with them, they just, don't really pay much attention. They just don't have much of an attention span. And, it's something that you want them to do. And, luckily, if you've qualified that person pretty well, then, hopefully they are a coffee drinker. They do want to lose weight, and, they might be interested in making some money and referring this product to some people. I always ask people to weigh themselves. It's funny that people think they weigh a certain amount, and then they weigh themselves and they go, whoa, I didn't know I weighed that much. So they don't get on a scale very often, right? And I tell them 1 or 2 cups. And for you guys, I always tell them 2 cups, because if you've got to lose 30 pounds or more, 2 cups before you eat any food, fasting at least for 90 minutes. And by that time, you know, that appetite suppressant will kick in and you won't want to eat. But, you know, I just tell them the longer you can resist eating, the better and the more effective the product's actually going to be. I tell them to drink extra water. If you want that fat to melt off of your body, then you got to drink some water so we can get it flushed out, right? And so, you know, drink water, right? I love to get people's reaction after they have their first cup. So, you know, I tell them to pay close attention because, again, you know, they just don't really pay attention. I tell them to pay attention to their energy level, their mood, their focus, their appetite, so that they're aware and they go, well, you know what? Yeah, well, I did feel better. I certainly had more energy and my mood was much better. And, you know, so make them aware of those things, what they can anticipate happening to them after they have that first cup. And then I say, you know, hey, you know, send me a report, text me a note, you know, do something, you know, just let's start that communication going back and forth. I always make an appointment to call back within 48 hours. Guess why? So I can introduce to the people that I work with, right? This is a critical part of the whole thing. I want them to see that this opportunity is bigger than just them and me, right? I want them to hear other people's stories. I want to bring them into the fold, if you will, because again, it's like somebody, you know, a brand new baby, basically. And, you know, I need to take them in little baby steps through the process. So I take them into making a call. Now, you know, I don't do this formally, right? You know, I do it very informally, and that is I'll be talking to them, excuse me, I'll be talking to them and I'll say, hey, hang on a second, looks like I got another call. And I'll pop over and I'll call Rick, real quick. And I said, Rick, hey, I got a great guy on the phone, blah, blah, blah. He's been my friend for this long, and he just had his first cup of coffee. Let you and I talk to him. And I plug everybody together. Then it's just a matter of, hey, Bob, you know, you never believe who just called me. Rick Gerald's my sponsor. So, hey, let me introduce you to Rick. Rick, this is Bob. Bob, this is Rick. Say hello. And then I just kind of back off, right? My job at that point is just to kind of back off, and Rick knows exactly what to do. So, you know, at that point, it really is Rick's carrying the ball, right? And we start to find out whether that person that we're talking to is a dud or a stud, you know, based on, you know, the person, Rick asking some questions and, you know, going through something like this. Hey, if a $600 investment in 10 hours a week, part-time effort over the course of the next 3 to 5 years would or could or produce a 6 or 7 figure income, is that something you'd be interested in doing? Is that something you'd be interested in doing? Be quiet, okay? Because when you ask that question, you wait for a response, and that response will give you, you know, the next move, if you will. You know, I take following up, you know, for granted. After 30 years of doing this, you know, it just kind of, you know, all comes natural. I know what the next move is. I know what the next thing is. I know how to turn a suspect into a prospect into an IR, you know, and I understand the process. I understand that, you know, their time is valuable. They have other things on their mind. This is not a priority for them like it is a priority for me. So I take that into consideration, and I take it in, you know, all of these little things, you know, is just something I know. And as you walk through the process and as you do this, you know, 10 times and 20 times and 50 times and 100 times and then 1,000 times, you'll certainly realize it yourself that, like it says there, depending on how the person responds determines your next move. So I've taken people through the process sometimes for a year, sometimes longer than a year. In fact, I got a call from a buddy of mine the other day in Texas, and, you know, Jerry's been swimming around the boat, you know, just kind of circling and just kind of, you know, tapping once in a while and, you know, a little this or a little, then he finally called And, you know, now I got some product off to him finally. He'll have it on Monday. And then we'll start that process, that conversation. And, you know, depending upon how big the fish is, determines what bait, right? What do I use next? Whether it's a whale or a minnow, right? And so I got to get the right bait. So with him, I'm going to not only plug him into Rick, I'll probably plug him into John. And if I can find Dave, I'll plug him into Dave. So I just want him to get the full scope of everything. I mean, it's one thing for me to tell him about, it's one thing for me to tell him about how great the company is and what the future of the company is going to be and so on and so forth. It's another thing for somebody else, right? Somebody else like Rick, who's been here now 5 years in July. John, who's been here 5 years in July. And then, of course, Dave. So, so you have to know what bait to use. Like I said, so you learn to become a master fisherman, not a master baiter, but a master fisherman. So anyway, hey guys, Jim, I was going to call him Scheidel, a good friend of mine that just died. Jim Scheibel over in Alabama and I have been working on the UPS, or the United States Postal Service, every door direct mail product. And, you know, if you guys are interested, Jim's going to do the first test right after the 4th of July. And we've got the postcard all done. I've sent it out. I'm going to show it to you for a second. But if you wanted to, you could go to USPS.com and find where it says EDDM program, and look at it. You can stick in your zip code or any zip code and run your mouse over the highlighted area, and it'll show the routes that are in a zip code, right? And it'll show you exactly the number of residential residences in that route and the businesses total in that route. It'll also show age group, income, family size. It'll give you all kinds of demographics, all that the post office has accumulated. And if you click on a route, then it'll add it to your cart, and then you can work through it. What we're doing, guys, is, you know, depending upon the success of the mail program, we will, this is the front side of the 6x9 postcard, right? So it's going to be a very interesting postcard, right? So we're not giving the name of the company. We're not giving the name of the product. We're just, you know, we're calling it VSRO coffee, right? And so we tell everybody a little bit about it. We tell them how much it is. You know, we're not keeping any secrets. And what Jim and we decided to do, we were going to do a sample pack with just 2 and do them for free. And we decided to not do that. And so we're just doing the 6-day experience, $20, right? And or we'll give them the option to buy a canister. Now, backside of the card, again, it just, you know, 100% money back guarantee, all natural ingredients, taste great, will not amp you up. BS 06 patented process, patent number there, no increase in heart rate, only 100 milligrams of caffeine, 50 milligrams of caffeine in the cocoa. And what Jim has asked them to do is text or call them, right? These are all in his zip code. Then we put in a little weight loss challenge, and we're going to expand on this whole challenge concept. I've got a couple of people that are, you know, starting to work on a website and a way for us to use this whole weight loss challenge. And so all of that is it's in the process. So we're going to give them a way to get started here, and in exchange for being part of the weight loss challenge and doing these things, we're going to give you a $500 travel voucher. And this is the information. So what we're going to do is this printer has the ability to obviously change this, right? And all of this stuff all remains the same no matter what post office you send it to. So you could say, hey, I want to do my zip code, or I want to do 90210. I want to do Beverly Hills, or I want to do this zip code, or whatever zip code. And you'd be able to target that and put an order in. They would print everything with your information. You would proof it. You would okay it. They would bundle it, pack it up, send it to that post office, and then that stuff would get distributed by the USPS, and you'd get verification, certification of those things being delivered to every door. So, you know, if our test is successful, then this will just be another marketing tool in our quiver of things that we'll use. And Jim's got it honed down to exactly, you know, what he needs in order to make the whole thing break even, and so on and so forth. But let me tell you why this is such a interesting component. It's interesting because what happens is when this person gets this travel voucher and they go to travelsavings.com, they then activate that voucher, and if they go ahead and book something, then that lead actually comes back to you, right? Yeah, it's going to be a great way to also generate other leads of people that have activated that voucher. So more on that later as well. So one of the things I think you guys probably saw Rick putting up some information about a pallet, and he was out there sweating, and he was, you know, banding it all together and shrink wrapping it and so on and so forth. So I had him fill up his Mercedes with 20 career packs. We brought them over to a freight line, sent them down to our customs broker in Laredo, Texas. And those 20 career packs have cleared customs. They're in Mexico City, and they are ready to be delivered tomorrow. So they'll be delivered tomorrow. And so I wanted all of you guys to know firsthand that if you have anybody in Mexico and they would like to be the first ones in Mexico, if they put in their Mexico address and try to ship to, the company won't ship product. But if they put in this Laredo, Texas address, and let's say that they buy a business builder pack, they're going to pay Valentis for the business builder pack and the shipping to Laredo, Texas, and then there'll be some other charges, not a lot, but there'll be some other charges for customs and duty, and for his charge, and for the truck line to get it. And what we're planning on doing is shipping every Friday. We'll ship every Friday out of Laredo. The first couple of shipments are probably going to be light, but then, you know, it'll probably pick up. So we've got a pretty good volume of things. So, so any questions about that, you can call me, or, you know, go to your upline before you place the order, or whoever's going to place the order. So we just want to make sure that all of that is perfectly clear. We were originally talking about sending all of the product, you know, to Rick, but we're going to take Rick out of the loop. We're going to send it directly to Jose Gonzalez. He's got a nice warehouse in Laredo. He's a customs broker and a freight forwarder. And so he's going to take care of everything, put it on a pallet, get it shrink wrapped, and get it through customs, and and onto the truck line to get it down to Mexico. So this is kind of a hush hush. You know, we're not doing anything wrong. We're just doing it in advance of, and nothing wrong with that. So, hey, one of the other things that came up is this, right? I knew that it happened, but I really hadn't paid attention. You know, if your account is inactive, or if you've got an account, or somebody has in your organization, if it's inactive for 6 months, it gets pulled from the genealogy, right? If you had an organization under you, or people that you've even sponsored under you, those people are gone, right? Your position is gone. They all just moved up. So you just can't let that happen, because we can't get it put back in. You know, the person can join again, and they can reactivate, you know, but they're at the bottom. So they have no people. So, and so I'm talking to everybody. I've got some people that are in there. They've got huge organizations, one leg, right? And I go, hey, I understand that the timing is not great for you, but keep your position active. You love the coffee, you know, or you love this product, or you love that product. So go ahead and set up your loyalty purchase so that every month it happens. 50 BV will keep you active and keep you banking volume. I mean, look, $66.92. Come on. And, you know, if in fact one of these days, if you just stay in the process, right, of, you know, you're still, and I hadn't talked about this much, you still have a great business deduction because you're in the process of trying to make a profit, right? So there are certain things here that are applicable to tax deductions, but you can talk to your CPA about that. But, you know, if you're in the process and, you know, by accident, you run across somebody who says, hey, I've been waiting for something like this to come along my entire life, and they're one of those personalities and they get started, guess what? All you got to do is duck and get out of the way, right? I mean, let's say that it's another Rick Gerald's, or it's another John Horenza, right? And all of a sudden they move to Royal Diamond or past, and, you know, they're knocking it out of the park. Your participation and your part of the commission is 20% matching bonus. That's not bad, 20%. I mean, how would you like to get paid 20% on 100 grand a week? 20,000 a week for finding somebody? You know, and these people are out there. I guarantee you, they're out there. So stay active. You know, there might be a point in time when, you know, you get fired from your job or something happens. I mean, Lord, things happen all the time. And now you've got an ace in the hole, right? You got one team already built down to China, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there. You got hundreds of thousands of volume banked there, and just stay active. So you can always do something. So that's what I talked about, you know. Don't let your position go inactive, whatever you do, you know, and there's that little example of 20% match, $20,000, right? I mean, give me a break. So you could get that for years and years and years to come. So business opportunity, you've got a lot of opportunities to bring people to hear the Valenta story. Those people that are inviting, right? They're the people that are getting the most benefit from everybody. And that is, you know, they're hearing people, they're having their new people hear the story. And you need to hear the story. I mean, there's just a lot of things that you'll pick up, you know, because one of these days you're going to be doing these, you know. I mean, Mitch and I are not going to continue this forever. You know, I know that I'm not. So I already told you that, you know, 100 grand a month comes, I'm out of here. So I'm looking forward, you know. I mean, I'll still be around, but I'm certainly not going to work as hard as I'm working. So Monday at 8:30, I do a Zoom, and there's the number, right? So there are two different numbers, two different ID numbers. Here's Mitch's ID number down here. So write those down, write down the times. Tuesday at 4 and 8 p.m. Now, this is kind of goofy. We'll have to fix this. This is 8:30 p.m. Eastern. This is for...
Oh, it sure is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this is 4 and 8 p.m. Central. So we're going to get you guys really confused. And so this is also Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central, and then 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right? And then Thursday is Central, and then Friday is Central. So everything is fine on here except that the 8:30 p.m. we'll put EDT, Eastern time on that, and Eastern time on this one, so that we differentiate that. But we should just put everything in Eastern time. That'll solve everything. But so invite. You just never know who's going to show up, what's going to happen. They're going to listen to a call. They're going to get excited about something that they heard, and they're going to call you and thank you and say, hey, I've been looking for something like this my entire life. And you're going to say, well, I'm certainly glad. Here's how we're going to get started. So,
Hey, Chuck?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, those times are right. It is 3 and 7 Central, 4 and 8 Eastern.
Oh, 4 and 8 Eastern. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
So all of these times are in Eastern?
Yes.
Okay. Then I guess we just need to change this from Central.
Yes.
To Eastern. Yeah.
Correct.
So we'll get another thing out to you guys. So that's it, guys. That's not me barking, but sometimes I feel like barking. So I'll stop that share. We'll get back over to this, and I'm going to stop the recording because this is the part. I always say that after the stuff that we do publicly, then we always have things that we do privately, and that's only for the people that are here and paying close attention. So I'll stop that recording. Go.